Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, today we've got an episode more on the light-hearted side of things, a bit of entertainment. You can see the headline here: Tesla owners buying up insane number of anti-Elon Musk bumper stickers. And here we can see some of those bumper stickers. Oust Elon. Elon in the ban zone there. Elon ate my cat. I guess that's referring to they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, and Elon was an illegal immigrant to begin with when he came in with his brother from Canada. I've made a video about that before.
In fact, when they did fund us, they realized that we were illegal immigrants.
Well, I mean,
Yes, we were.
I'd say it's a gray area.
Yeah, yes, we were. We were illegal immigrants.
So this is people who bought Tesla cars and really don't like Elon anymore because of his behavior. I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy. Now this is about the small business that makes these stickers that's doing very well. Let's have a look. We've got to support small business after all. Now it begins. Tesla is ubiquitous following election day. The company's shares broke the $1 trillion mark, back into that $1 trillion club again, making the electric vehicle maker more valuable than the next 15 automakers combined. Now Tesla investors of course say that it's more than a car company, and that's true. It's getting more and more into robotics and energy and other things. There's no argument there. Much of that is because Elon Musk's company is likely to benefit from its CEO having President-elect Donald Trump's ear. Now, as we've seen in previous videos, Elon is right there with Trump and pretty much looks like full-time with Trump since the election at Mar-a-Lago, on the airplane eating McDonald's, at the SpaceX launch. But it's also because Teslas are good EVs. That's image is from a Trump rally before the election. I'm sure we all saw some of those speeches or some of the images from that. He was pretty excited, went all in on Trump, and this bet has paid off. But a lot of people do not really like what's happening with Elon being so all in on Trump. Another related headline: how Musk's clout with Trump could enrich his companies. Elon Musk's backing of Donald Trump's decisive victory for a second presidency puts the billionaire entrepreneur in an extraordinary position of influence to help his company secure favorable government treatment. And as we've seen in previous videos, he's hoping to get some regulation taken away for autonomous vehicles and for SpaceX too. He, being libertarian, wants to decrease regulation, and now it's seemingly he's in the perfect position to influence policy, not being an elected official, paying over $100 million to the Trump campaign, and now being buddy-buddy with Trump after the election. Not sure how long that will last. They've both got big egos and thin skin. We'll have to see how that goes over time. However, the problem is, well, Elon, of course, though 35% of respondents to a heat map poll last winter said the controversial and erratic executive made them more likely to want to purchase a Tesla. There are plenty of people who wouldn't be caught dead in an EV that in any way benefits the newly minted government efficiency crusader. And of course, that's Doge. Elon is involved in that. He isn't an official government employee. He would have to give up his companies if he was going to do that. He's just influencing from the outside. A consultant, we could say. EV buyers still love Tesla, whatever Elon Musk says. So this was back in December 2023. Now, I wonder how much that's changed. I think these stickers are selling well, as we'll see. So more and more people have a problem with Elon, I think. And he has picked sides here. Sure, more than half the country, the popular vote, went to Trump. So you'd have to think there'd be quite a lot of people wanting to buy a Tesla because of that, or proud of their Tesla and Elon and Trump. But also nearly half of people don't really feel like that. And on that it says, but what about all those people who purchased Teslas before Musk went full MAGA? For them, there's a solution in the form of bumper stickers produced by Matthew Hiller of Waikiki, Hawaii. Hiller's side hustle, Mad Puffer Stickers, gives Tesla owners a way to disavow the company's CEO in the form of a no Elon sticker, for instance. We'll see the stickers more in a minute. An anti-Elon Tesla Club sticker, or one that spells it out. I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy. As you might expect, business is booming. Now he's got an Etsy store, as you can see here. They're also available on Amazon, which we'll see in a minute. I'll provide links to those as well if you in fact want to get one. Now this entrepreneur was interviewed by Heatmap. One of the questions was, how did you begin making anti-Elon Musk stickers? He says, I started making stickers on my own before the Elon sticker. I work at an aquarium, so I did a lot of fish stickers. I always had an interest in making stickers. I knew how to make them and how to put the designs and cute phrases on them. This one's not so cute. This is one that stands out. So if you had it on your Tesla, very anti-Elon kind of sticker. Now he goes on, the point came in maybe February or January of 2023. I'd been wanting to buy a Tesla, but at that point I started to notice how far off the rails Elon had been going, as many of us did. When he bought Twitter, he started extreme censoring of information, taking verification marks off the New York Times and things like that to sow discontent, disinformation, and push his agenda. Since he has owned the X platform, he has censored a number of people or just shadow banned them. They talk about freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach, which is definitely a big loophole. If you want to silence somebody or at least quiet them down, you can kind of shadow ban them. So he talks about free speech a lot, but not freedom of reach. The big loophole for him there. And he says, it was ugly. I couldn't believe this man was using his power like this. And I immediately did not want to support him in any way. I figured there's no way I'm buying a Tesla. But there have got to be so many people who are so embarrassed to be repping him on the streets driving their Teslas and who want to completely disavow the guy, because I know I would want to sell mine immediately after I saw what he was doing. And this is one of the stars of the stickers, the Anti-Elon Tesla Club, for people that have a Tesla that want to disavow Elon, to put that on the back, at least saying to the world, I bought this earlier on, I wouldn't buy it now. Now, if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. Also, do subscribe if you're new here and you want to get more of this kind of content in the future. And he says, so I made the first sticker which said, I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy. I printed up a very small run at first and just threw it in my shop. It took a while for the first sale, but after I got rolling, some people started posting pictures. It went viral a couple of times and I would see a burst of sales and then it would quiet down. I would be selling 5 to 7 a day, a small number. And then suddenly there would be 50 a day because someone else talked about it on Reddit. And here is an image from Reddit of the sticker on a car. And one of those times it went viral. It's 79,000 upvotes there. Obviously, sales took off. And he says, obviously, after the election, and now at this point, it's gone insane. Have your sales gone up since the election, he was asked. Absolutely, unbelievably. And this is one of the classic ones. I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy. Now, there were major points when the sales spiked beyond anything that had happened before. The first time was when Elon went on stage with Trump at one of the rallies, and that solidified what everybody already knew, that he was in the tank for Trump and he was going to put his full fortune behind getting the guy elected. Well, not his full fortune, over $100 million. And remember that time he was giving away $1 million a day in the swing state, Pennsylvania, to really help buy votes. And now it paid off big for him when Trump won. And some people saying he's acting more like an oligarch now with a lot more power. And so there are people that bought Teslas who want to display bumper stickers to disavow, to say, we would never buy this now. Then, after the election, there was another huge bunch of sales, he says, because people were like, oh my God, this guy is now going to have a part in this government. This was so in your face and so disgusting, he says. He's just filling Trump's coffers with his money in exchange for position and power and influence. Now, a lot of people do believe that he's doing that, not aiming to help the country, to help himself more, really. And it showed in the sales that other people thought so too. I must have sold about 250 to 300 a day. So it's going from about 5 to 10 a day or less to 250 to 300 a day, and it's been steady ever since. I can barely keep up. My full-time job is at the aquarium, and I come home and pack stickers until 11 p.m. It's just me and my wife doing it all. So it sounds like they run off their feet busy, but that wouldn't mean that they wouldn't want to sell more of them. This here is an image of it on Amazon. Now it's in the top selling stickers, so we can see why they're so busy. Now he was asked, can you give me a ballpark of how many you've sold? Definitely over 10,000 at this point, over 10,000 from this two-person operation. I think today we're about 180 per day, so they must be printing up a lot of them, and that's across all my stickers, not just the Anti-Elon sticker, but it's been around 100 plus every day for weeks now. It's rough. Again, I'm sure they wouldn't mind selling more of them. This is another one in a different format. I bought this before Elon went crazy. Now, in case you were wondering, he was asked, which is the most popular design? The most popular is the OG. I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy. So a lot of people out there with Teslas wanting to put that on their car. It's the one that I have that is the traditional long bumper sticker, rectangular. That's the most popular by far. Now, I had a look on Amazon. It's actually number 3 at the moment. As you can see, a Trump sticker is actually number 2. As I said, I'm going to put links in the description here to these on Amazon if you want to go and check it out for yourself. It had been number 1 at a few points. At one point, it was beating both Trump and Kamala stickers. And I was like, that's insane. People hate Elon more than they love Trump or Kamala. As I said, I'm going to put some links to these in the description if you want to go and check them out and support a small entrepreneur, even though they're rushed off their feet busy. Not sure how long it'll keep up, but there's a lot of people out there with Teslas who don't want to support Elon and want to say so. If that's one of you, go and check them out in the description. Now, what do you think of this? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm also going to put a link on screen to a related episode if you want to go and see that now. And also a subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet and you want more of this kind of content in the future, do subscribe. Thanks to everybody for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.